Hi, turning to the Discriminates as to explore below topics and more. Two trains collide in southern Pakistan, killing more than 30. VP Harris begins first overseas trip since taking office. 10,864 Venezuelans pour into Texas border region, up from 155 last year. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, inflation boosting interest rates higher would be good for U.S. Supreme Court won hear lawsuit claiming military drug discriminate against men. Welcome back to the Discriminates. I'm your host Katherine Dang. We'll be posting exclusive episodes daily you can only find in the Discriminates. So we invite you to like and subscribe. And let's start today by talking about two trains collide in southern Pakistan, killing more than 30. Two express trains collided in southern Pakistan early Monday, killing more than 30 passengers, authorities said, as rescuers and villagers worked to pull injured people and more bodies from the wreckage. Between 15 to 20 passengers are still trapped in the wreckage of the Mila Express train, and authorities were trying to arrange heavy machinery to rescue those people who are crying for help, said Yuma Tufel, a police chief in Ghotki district in Sindh province, where the collision occurred before dawn. The Mila Express derailed and the Surfside Express train hit it soon afterward, said Usma Abdullah, a deputy commissioner in Ghotki. It wasn't immediately clear what caused the derailment and the subsequent collision. And the second news we're going to discuss about. VP Harris begins first overseas trip since taking office. Vice President Kamala Harris' trip to Guatemala and Mexico this week is likely to emphasize cooperation with non-government organizations amid some criticisms from local officials over the timing and choice of her mission to curb migration to the United States from the region, advisor and experts said. The Vice President's first overseas trip since taking office, which starts on Sunday, will focus on economic development, climate and food insecurity, and women's issues, White House officials say. Harris' advisors said he will meet with community leaders, workers, and entrepreneurs and have repeatedly sought to lower short-term expectations from the three-day trip, highlighting her focus on root causes for migration such as corruption that have plagued the country for years. Harris, who departed Washington on Sunday after delay caused by technical issues on Air Force 2, will land in Guatemala on Sunday and fly to Mexico on June 8, where he will spend the day. And next, we're going to talk about 10,864 Venezuelans poured into Texas border region, up from 135 last year. Del Rio Sector Border Patrol Chef Austin Scarrow wrote on Twitter on June 4th, "In just the last 7 days, our agents have encountered over 5,800 migrants from 29 different countries. During this same time, 63 smuggling attempts were caught on our highways. More than 190,000 illegal aliens from 70 countries have been apprehended in the sector so far this fiscal year, starting October 1st, 2020. Del Rio is a city of just over 35,000 people, while nearby Echo Park has about 30,000. The region is mostly changed land. The number of Venezuelans coming is immense. In this sector alone, with 4 months to go in the fiscal year, 10,864 Venezuelans have been apprehended by Border Patrol, according to Customs and Border Protection. In comparison, for the whole of fiscal 2020, 135 Venezuelans were apprehended. Let's move on to another topic. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, inflation pushing interest rates higher will be good for U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that the trillions of dollars in President Joe Biden's new spending proposals would be good for the United States, even if it pushes inflation higher and leads the Fed to raise interest rates. If we ended up with a slightly higher interest rate environment, it will actually be a plus for society's point of view and the Fed's point of view. Yellen said in a June 6 interview on Bloomberg. As part of its crisis support measures for the economy, the Fed has kept interest rates at near zero and it has been making around $120 billion in monthly asset purchases. Yellen made the remark during her return from a group of 7 finance ministers meeting in London, at which she reiterated her view that the current bout of inflation could be temporary. "We're seeing some inflation, but I don't believe it's permanent," Yellen said at the June 5th press conference that followed the meeting. She said the consensus view at Treasury is that the year-over-year inflation rate would continue through the rest of the year at maybe around 3%. And finally, we're going to discuss about Supreme Court won hear lawsuit claiming military draft discriminates against men. The Supreme Court on June 7 declined to hear a challenge to the requirement that only males can register for the military draft. The order suggests that only men will still be required to register under the selective service system. A group called the National Coalition for Men, a men's rights group, filed the challenge, arguing that the men-only draft amounts to unconstitutional discrimination on the basis of sex. The group highlighted the 2013 Department of Defense order that allowed women to serve in military combat roles. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote, "It is explaining why the challenge won't be heard. It remains to be seen, of course, whether Congress will end gender-based registration under the Military Selective Service Act. But at least for now, the court's long-standing deference to Congress on matters of national defense and military affairs cautions against granting review while Congress actively weighs the issue." She was joined by Justices Stephen Breyer and Brett Kavanaugh. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, in a statement expressed disappointment over the Supreme Court's move to not hear the case. Requiring only men to register for the draft reflects the outdated and sexist notion that women are less fit to serve in the military and that men are less able to stay home as caregivers in the event of an armed conflict, said Ria Tabakomar, director of the ACLU Women's Rights Project, in a June 7 statement. Stark stereotypes demand both men and women. The ACLU's lawyers had written to the Supreme Court in a petition on behalf of 2 men who were required to register for the draft and the National Coalition for Men that the alleged unequal treatment imposes selective burdens on men. And that's all for today, my friends. What do you think? Let me know below. If you like what you heard, don't forget to share it with at least one of your friends because everyone deserves to know the truth. Thanks for tuning into this. I'm Katherine Dang and see you next time.